However, there is, despite the fact that there is no new government now after the last election, there is a government, the 2019 government led by Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute, the Prime Minister, that is still working. So why do you think that the country has got into a dead zone?
The Prime Minister of this country has no decision. It's a window dressing. It's a window dressing because when you look at other countries like Senegal and the rest, other countries in Europe, when they say post of Prime Minister, you create a post of Prime Minister, the President is symbolic. But in Cameroon, the President is active. And active,
but we are in a presidential system in Cameroon, and not in the system of the United Kingdom, for example, not in the system of Britain.
No, he should have just abrogate or even just cancel the post of Vice President if we are in a republic. As far as the post of Prime Minister, as far as we have a Prime Minister and a head of government, it means that the Prime Minister is the one that shuffles the government, hold cabinet meetings, and create a brand new cabinet whenever it's necessary. But we are now going to about 7 to 8 years, meaning that this post of ministers and cabinet ministers is indefinite. If you put minister and probably has gone maybe silent, nobody sees him, you will remain minister forever. Even if you kill a human being, nobody will criticize you. Nobody will change from that position. Even if you do something wrong, even if you embezzle, most of the things they are doing are window dressing. Window dressing in the fact that they can make a cool prick. Somebody just comes out of the gang and then say he's going to court because he embezzled money. But that is just window dressing for the international community and for us, some of us that are opposition party leaders.
Why do you refer to the post of Prime Minister in Cameroon today as a window dressing? Is it not a position that is as important as...
How many decisions have you heard him, or even a decree? Decrees are very abnormal in a republic where there is or there are elected people. So you mean that the Prime Minister has enacted any decree that affects Cameroonians positively or negatively for how many years? He has no powers. He cannot sack a minister. Some ministers even do the job of Prime Minister. Some of them do the job of everything. Just take, for example, people comes out and sign decrees in transport, but you are on territorial administration, you're talking about transport, you're talking about agriculture, you're talking about nearly everything. And
you're talking about ministerial orders, ministerial arrêtés, as they put it.
Yeah, they're just involving into everything and making the nation look so foolish outside. When you're out of this country and you see this country with a clear eye, you know that it is a dead zone. The people have hijacked it, kidnapped it, and they make the people silent. They don't want anybody to talk, but they want to own nearly everything. And take, for instance, there are people in this country amassing horrible amount of wealth. In communication, it's just a small family. In agriculture, industrialization, on all those things, the president signs it direct. Where is the Prime Minister? The Prime Minister is window dressing in Cameroon. It's not like in South Africa. We can say Europe, take Europe out of it. Let's say South Africa. Take South Africa, go to Zambia. Anywhere there's a Prime Minister and he is the head of government, he has the right to create a government, a new cabinet, and manages it and watch it and hold cabinet meetings. Our Prime Minister in Cameroon is symbolic instead of the president being symbolic.
But the law has made it in a way that the Prime Minister only proposes to the president, and it's the president who appoints. The Constitution grants the authority of appointment of ministers to the president on the proposal of the Prime Minister.
You take a political party that has been at least 70 years in power, since 1961 or 1972. The CNU was created. Then they changed the name from CNU to CPDM. Then that party was a one-party system. Then the CPDM changed the name and used the same manifesto of one-party system where political parties are allowed to exist but not to operate. And then now you're thinking that this country is driving with the post of Prime Minister who has no power to even change, even enact something into law. And what law are you talking about? A law of a 70-year country or 70-year a political party called the CPDM that sleeps with the constitution on the bed. That he changes at will, changing it to put his wife, brother, uncle. That's why you find a country like this. They don't change the constitution in any country as they change in Cameroon. What is the law? There's no law. The law is only stipulating that the president is the highest human being that is existing, and nobody should call his name. I think I'm the only one in the political scheme in this country that calls the name of the president. And I know that I've told you, if one person in this country will ever and ever see their president, see him physical, a normal person, you change my name. It will never happen.
But they saw him on the 20th of May.
No, that was
and he stood for the singing of the national anthem. He moved to his seat, entered his car from the Unity Palace. Reporters saw him, and everybody saw him.
We vision him. The record of the Cameroonians, the basic Cameroonians, those people selected that you have the right to come 1 meter, you have the right to go 2 meters, you have the right to be half a meter. It's just the same window dressing. So I'm saying that if there is a president in this country, let him come out and do something feasible for the people of Cameroon to feel him that he is a president. There's no war in Cameroon. There's no problem in Cameroon. There's no anger in Cameroon. Nobody hates him. Then why? If he is there, what is the hiding? Why is he hiding from? You don't see any Cameroonian who hates the president and wants to do some harm to him. Why is he hiding? He's been 50 years there. So if he is there, come out.
But many are seeing him as the cause of their problem. Even though it is often said that before pointing a finger to someone else, you should know that there are 4 other fingers that are pointing to yourself. Yes. But many Cameroonians today are seeing him as the cause of the bad socio-economic and even security situation of the country.
Yeah, when we're talking, that's right. But he got the most expensive security in the whole microcosmic and macrocosmic world. Since the existence of presidents, he has the highest amount of security. All the security forces in Cameroon is all about him. So why is he hiding? Everybody, whether you find in a road junction, police officer, whether custom, anybody who is in charge of any security, all his dreams is about the president. The record of the time they sleep and dream is thinking about their president. So they think that the nation is the president. The nation has no voice. The people got no voice. They got no chance to speak. But the president is the only person to say anything. But why is he hiding?
On the 31st of December 2025, the president said in his end-of-year address to the nation that a new government was going to be put in place in the coming days. Close to 6 months. Nothing has happened in that perspective.
Now you will remember that when I speak, I speak. I know, and I told you, all these are just trying to manipulate Cameroonians.
So what is your understanding of that?
My understanding is that it is a death zone. There is nobody behind this government. These people are cat and mice now looking at each other on their eyeballs to eyeballs, but afraid of one another. And who can change who? The president is nowhere to be found. He's the only one to speak up. He's incapable to speak, incapable to move, incapable to do anything if he only is there, of which we will never see him. So now what they're doing is they're just managing to get flimsy ideas to manipulate and carry on running a country with no head of state that nobody has physically seen. Even if the Pope comes in here or anybody who comes from wherever they're coming from, what is the government actually working? Is the outcome? How effective is the government? Who blames them? They have almost silenced all of us not to speak. Some of us are being haunted. Some are being killed, political party leaders. Some are being extradited. Some are being trapped and wanted dead or alive. How effective if they work in silence with nobody opposing them? Who counterchecks their effectiveness? We should be checking the effectiveness of this country. We should be sharing ideas. And we should be seeing that everything that is happening should happen in accordance with the constitution, the natural constitution of this country, including the commandments of the law of God. Thou shalt not kill. And let nobody be killed by another person. But in this regime, it's democratic, but they further all those negative things that even the Almighty himself rejected, that it should be done, but they are doing it that it should be done. And they're saying that without shuffling a government, or even reshuffling it, or even putting a new government in place, means that nothing is wrong with the country. Who tells them? Where is the effectiveness of the government? Where is the safetyness of this government? Where is the accountability of the government? Where is the transparency of this government? And where are the very good things that a nation that thinks is so unique, like Cameroon, where are those things? These are our children roaming up and down, picking pockets of elderly people. bribing to get access to the law. Just meeting with a man from the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement who works in the government, just meeting with him, you need to give him something.
So what's your reading of the fact that till now, even though the president said a new government was going to be put in place in the coming days, what's your reading, your understanding of the fact that till now that has not happened? And in addition to that, there are two ministries, the Ministry of Vocational Training and the Ministry of Employment and Vocational Training and the Ministry of Tourism that were led by Issa Chiruma Bakari and Bello Buba Maigari. Those ministries are now being led by interim ministers who are managing two portfolios at the same time. What's your reading of that?
I will tell you, and I will go straight to the point to answer this question. This is the most important question I will answer now. Is the incapacity of this government. It is not regulated. This government is working out of bounds of the constitution of this country, and that's why nobody is capable to form a new government, because the head of state of this country has no capacity to take vibrant decisions, and people are now working from high instruction of the president. And when you work on high instructions, when did this high instruction started? Who mandated these high instructions? How long will it last to have high instructions? During high instructions, where are there provisions that you can sack, remove, change a cabinet minister or do anything? There was none. And that's where they are at a blockade crisis. They have blocked themselves. No way to go further behind, no way to come in front. We are all watching. You are watching.
A response to that would be the fact that high instructions emanate. High instructions of the President of the Republic is a result of the law, the Constitution, that creates the possibility of delegation of powers to the Secretary General of the Presidency of the Republic, who is now a Minister of State, to act on behalf of the President.
I will answer that question. That who make the constitutions? They change it. I'm already saying to you that they're sleeping with the constitution on their bed and they're imposing it to Cameroon people. How many times for the past 50 years that Cameroonians have celebrated a new constitution that fits them and that suits them? Why is the constitution circulating around the president only? Have you seen any nation that gives all its provision and power to the president? And who celebrated that constitution? Because if we take all power in this country, we're only going to go into policies and procedures and the amendment of the constitution once and for all. And all Cameroonians will come and celebrate the constitutional amendment and accept it, or come out with ideas to reject it, so we all accept. And we celebrate with 13-pounder guns in the air. And the Cameroon is now very much reunited, very much together, love their nation, accepts what it is, and we accept it. And I will not sleep with the constitutional bed, just like this president is doing. He's lying with the constitution on his bed, and he changes it and using the provision that the constitution says that, okay, the constitution says that he can delegate high instructions. How long would that high instruction last? When he delegated the high instruction, when did he delegate it? Did he told the people of Cameroon that? And what was the reason of delegating high instructions? Because the reason must be clear-cut in a transparent and democratic nation. You need to tell the people that I'm not well, I'm not capable, I have fever, I have got a headache, I've traveled. So I'm leaving this person for 2 weeks to manage our country until I come back. Why are they doing this to this country? Why? And they can't look my eyes in the eyeballs. They look at me as somebody who is so strange in the planet. But I'm here with you. I'm here and I'm watching everything. And I'm just here to help. I'm ready to help them. I'm ready to advise them. Advising them in a transparent manner. Having a Department of Government Transparency. Heading it with full-fledged and intellectual capacity, seeing that the nation is transparent. Even touching the constitution will be a taboo.
Because some analysts are highlighting a fight, a power tussle between alleged camps within the governance mechanism of the country. Yes. From your own point of view, what do you think is blocking the putting in place of the new government till now?
Because there's no leadership. There's no one tiny leadership accepted by the Cameroon people. There is leadership, but it's all over the place. There's nobody who owns up that he's capable, cognitive, and that the Cameroon people have elected him. And the elected body, who is Paul Biya at the moment as we speak, it is all proven in every dimension. Every nation knows. The diplomatic missions, they know. Everywhere in the world, they know that when you clock that type of age, you can't do anything. But now, unfortunately, he's been kidnapped. And decisions are taken under high instructions. But now, I am a minister, you are a minister. Who tells you that you drop your position and put in this person when I'm on high instructions? That's where the problem now is.
That's a very, very strong allegation. He's been kidnapped. That can be very, very disturbing in the judicial sense of the word, in the legal sense of the word, to kidnap. Somebody should be asking for ransom somewhere. But then, I don't know what you mean by that.
Let me explain.
Yes.
That word, when I say it will not depend on individual people to define it in their own way. But I'm saying in the sense that people have taken over his rights of power of running this nation because of his incapacity and time. He needs a lot of rest. He needs a lot of rest and a lot of calm at this time. They should not have been using the word of high instructions, and that is where they will misinterpret my words. But when they reason alongside with me, they will understand that it is just the delegation of power at the wrong time and at the wrong place, without the consensus and general consensus or understanding of Cameroonians. Cameroonians have to know this day like this, we are dedicating this person under high instruction of the president to manage this government until he gets better, until he comes back, until he go on holidays, until whatever reason they will give. So when there is no concise explanation, it becomes so cumbersome, and that is where that type of words and slogans kicks in. Now it depends on the judiciary and anybody who wants to define in their own way. And in a country of this nature, it becomes now that it is terrible, but it is not. Because worldwide, they use all these words. Who can you use that words to? You use it to your government, because your government is your lovely people who trust you and who likes you to vote them. And they will not be planting evil against good in order that I should fall wrong. But they should be seeing that I have the right to use all sort of words. That's the only vacuum in the world where citizens pour their aggression and anger on.
Well, what Cameroonians have been told till now is that the president of the republic, Paul Biya, is at the Unity Palace and is governing the nation. We will come back in a short while. Time for us to take the press review. We are going to the newsstands and we are looking at what the newspapers reported this week. We'll be right back in a moment. The Herald Tribune reports that the bishops have slammed the Cameroon government for lack of will to solve the socio-political problems in the country. The Horizon, the ring road that never rings, a project expected to connect all the 7 divisions of the Northwest region that has been pending for several years. According to the Guardian Post, Cameroonians in the United States of America are pushing for an Anglophone to be named vice president, while those in France are lobbying for a Francophone. The Voice qualifies recent Cameroon government decisions on family allowance control and the rescheduling of the General Certificate of Education GC examinations as big blunders. Lashaking Info reports that a youth leader, Ngompang Blaise, has called for an expanded partnership in the fight against child abuse in Cameroon. Cameroon Insider says parliamentarians are demanding action to improve the welfare of citizens. And Cameroon Tribune tells its readers that parliamentarians meeting in the June session of Parliament are committed to upholding national unity and elaborating the 2027 state budget. The Guardian Post puts forth the question, who is blocking the appointment of the General Certificate of Education GC Board Registrar? The Observer 237 takes its readers through 5 years of building bridges, the stewardship of Tamfu Simon Faye as Northwest Public Independent Conciliator. Another issue of Cameroon Tribune reassures Cameroonians that the sugar-producing company, Sosucam, has not stopped production. You're welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. FOLIGAR, president of the Cameroon Reformation Party. Now, let's talk about the situation of the country with regards to the vice presidency that is expected, even though the law does not make it an imperative. It says the president may appoint a vice president. On the 14th of April 2026, the president promulgated into law the constitutional amendment bill reintroducing the post of vice president. But till now, we don't have anything happening as far as that is concerned. A vice president is yet to be appointed. What do you think?
They're touching soft grounds. They're touching soft favorable grounds, touching to see whether things will move their way constantly, increasing the mandate in power, with the chances, with the vision of them having the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement. That's their vision, to be making a 75-year-old political party running a nation. So they're touching soft grounds to see whether it will work. And that is where the situation is. And unfortunately, the incapacity and the rights of the bill and the type of promulgation who started it is very difficult. You have a government and a cabinet from 2018 or 2017, 2016 that has never been reshuffled. Nobody has ever been blamed. Everything is stagnant. The ministers are there indefinitely at work. They will never change them. Who is there to change them? Then they are now coming into a situation where they say post of vice president that existed far back in the 70s, right up into the 80s. There was a post of vice president. Maybe when the former president cancelled it and then changed it, making it nice that they should be the president.
Transition from federal state to a unitary state on May 20, 1972 through the referendum. Now, about the post of vice president, there is a United Kingdom newspaper, The Guardian, that is saying that according to local analysts, the UK newspaper, which is a very serious newspaper, The Guardian, says that according to local analysts, the son and stepson of the President of the Republic are major contenders. It says, Cameroon, a tale of two Francs, world's oldest leader, creates deputy role, raising prospects of dynastic succession.
I've told you about that they are struggling to change the country into a dynasty, into a small kingdom. We talked about that last time, and I told you this post is lingering.
How can you prove that?
They are proof because when you see the structure of the nation, you see the structure of the economy, you see the government administrative organs, it's centered around a particular family. It's centered around the president, uncles, brothers, and stepsons, and all those people. It's centered around them. Everything you do, and all the ministers, they are so much afraid of that particular family. So when you are even related or knows them or even greet them or have a business card from them, you are right at the top. So what they are doing, they are saying the right thing. The Guardian is a very prolific newspaper that is renowned worldwide, and they don't report anything that they don't know. And they are reporting something that I've predicted before, that they're driving Cameroon into a kingdom. And already Cameroon is a kingdom because you cannot be so good that they only re-elect President Paul Biya for the past 50 years. I'm saying 50 years because that is what will happen. Because now he just be elected in 2025, giving another 7 or 5 years, whatever he wants, adding to 42, 43 years. How many years is that? And if he's there or not, the only good news is that for the family, a member of the family will be vice president, and the president has the fork and knife because of the constitution that he has promulgated, that the post of vice president automatically becomes president should the president not be there.
Do you think that in a country that is said to be democratic, law-abiding, the president can be considering appointing his son, Frank Biya, or his stepson to the post of vice president? We know that we have that in Central Africa, for example, in Equatorial Guinea, where the president's son has handled at least 3 ministerial positions, and now he's vice president. But in Cameroon, we've not had that till now. Do you think the president is really considering appointing his son or his stepson as vice president?
I will tell you, even as they run the country at the moment, the decision making around this country is from the family. the decision making around this country at the moment is within a clique of the family.
What are the facts that you have to back up that idea?
That is where the difficulty of reshuffling this cabinet, and after an election, there's never been a country after an election and you win, you cannot change positions, you cannot have a new clean vision about the country, you cannot see your own errors of the past, you cannot see challenges during the elections that makes you to think that this person should move from this position to that position. And if it stays the same, it means we are between a brick wall and a man, and nobody is able to move out. And that's where everything that boils down within the family of the head of state. And choice and decision making for this country becomes difficult. Who wants to say what to who? That's where the problem is. And then, because of that reason, they have never put directly the son into a government position. But I will tell you now that they have taken lucrative opportunities that needs to go to companies, business people, other leaders. They have located lucratively those things into their family, making it that there's no need for him to be prime minister, there's no need for him to be minister, just like you said in Central Africa and the rest. But they have make him so lucrative, a luxurious lifestyle, a heavy luxurious lifestyle that even if you're a minister, you are not going to go near to close to the son of the president that is like a demigod. Nobody is saying him, nobody is talking about him. You are not obliged to call his name. But do you think that if the president slips the constitution is dead, then he sees that he is 93, 94, 95 years old? The chances are now that when a day passes, you are going nearer or outer of the planet in any way.
Now, what is your perception of the fact that the president's son, his stepson, they are all Cameroonians, and they have every right, like every other Cameroonian, to occupy any position, to be appointed to any position, to even become the president of this nation?
Yes. But now, that comes with the democratic nature of the country. A country that has been kidnapped by a certain group of people, kept on one side, making decisions that are very bad to the people, has the right to do whatever they want to do. The president has been there for 50 years. The national anthem of this nation is Paul Biya. It's not the anthem that we're using. Everybody, you go to the roads, the police, the general, the army, the customs, everybody is about the head of state, head of state. Every picture you find from anybody sitting anywhere is the head of state. So he is more important than the national flag of this country. So he has the right to put his son anywhere he wants to put, because nobody can oppose. He's paved the way from Kale in the 90s, beating children, crippling them on the ground, kicking some, locking off some, just to make sure that things go silent. And this has happened so long, and we got a habit of just being quiet and not being able to talk. Whether we are leaders of political organizations or whoever we are, we're trying to backbite behind because we're sitting in a very dangerous position. Now he is willing and ready at his age. Let me tell you that if he is there, the only way out is to keep his son in that position of successor. And that position is the position of the vice president.
I saw a newspaper headline this week, I think on the Guardian Post, quoting Barrister Agbo Bala, found
are within your control. But truly, as you said, we find situations where staff or the credit officer may connive with the customer first. They falsify document, they falsify the project, and the project is not a realistic one, and it gets to delinquency. Another issue is the follow-up. You see, as a credit officer or as a financial institution, each time you finance somebody, you are supposed to follow the execution of that project. If you borrow money to say you want to construct a school, and yes, you want to construct a school, the bank, you are supposed to come out with your project plan, and the disbursement of that money is supposed to be into some installment as per your project. But we find a situation where the bankers may have confidence on the customer. He has a project of 100 million, you disperse all the sum the same day, the same time. How do you expect somebody to construct a school is carrying 100 million to execute that project? So what happens? Because the customer is not in control of the cash, there is that temptation to divert the fund into other activities or maybe increasing the school land and all of that. So those are some of the factors that are responsible for the delinquency in the situation that we find our country today. And it is so also because we also find the recovery scheme put in place is very weak. The recovery scheme that we expect the government to give financial institutions to follow up recovery is very, very weak. So much so that each time you have a delinquent loan, you find the procedure to recover that loan at times are very cumbersome, and not only cumbersome, but at times very, very expensive, more than the amount. Imagine somebody is owing you 500,000 and you have to use a lawyer, you have to go to the court to recover your money. You may use even more than 500,000 to recover that money. So what then do you do? So that's some of these things that we think that the actors, the stakeholders need to sit down. We will examine this thing closely and put appropriate measures to make sure that anybody who borrows money from banks should be able to pay the loan. Because as you know, the bank is the backbone of every economy. If the banking system is that weak, you should expect a weak economy. So it is for the general interest of the public, the state, and even owners of this financial institution to make sure that everything that concerns finances is properly managed and for the benefit of the economy and the benefit for the owner of those businesses and even for the customer and the rest of the people that are associated to the institutions.
Now, apart from the other challenges that may happen to every other financial institution, at CCC, have you had issues of corrupt practices, loans that are given or awarded in violation of the law, in violation of the procedure laid down?
The first thing I will say that you have delinquency. Truly, we have delinquency level in CCC, which means that there are customers that have been financed and the loan have not been paid. And these two also point to the fact that there may be some corrupt practices, because those are things that you cannot dictate. When people sit behind and they connive and do things, it is very, very at times difficult to prove that this was a case of connivance or corruption. But however, we have had cases, serious cases of violation of procedure that we have discovered staff or credit officers that have mingled with funds with customer, and we have sanctioned them seriously. Some we have even taken to prison, some dismissal and all of that, and it will cost them to recover the money, to pay back the money.
What is the mechanism that you have put in place at the level of CCC to check against those problems?
Firstly, we have put in place the procedure, because there are various levels of credit approval. The first is that we centralize all our loan facilities.
Requesting, should it be simply cancelled?
First of all, before putting that decree, who did they consult? Being a president doesn't mean that you don't work with your collaborators, but like us, like political party leaders, having our views. So when you sit in your bed as you sleep with the Constitution, which you have the right, because anybody touches the Constitution, you kill the person. Anybody who speaks against the Constitution, you kill. Anybody that say anything against it, you arrest. Then you're sleeping it on your bed. You're the only person to change it. What happens with it? Whatever you enact a law or you put anything out, a decree, that is inaccurate, we asking him to reject and cancel it and calls back elections as soon as possible without doing any move. And when I say no move, means that no new divisions should be created, no new subdivisions should be created, no new regions should be created, and everything should stay put until we go and finish our elections, get success, come back and sit, and then we can rearrange anything that needed arrangement, because this government now, municipal councillors and the rest, all of them are illegal.
Well, as of now, there are even new villages that are creating social tensions all around the place in Bengui and so on, and these things are happening. In the meantime, do you think that this case that Professor Maurice Kamto has brought to the Constitutional Council, asking what you just said now, that decree should be annulled, everything should be brought back to zero, and everything taken all over, do you think that can prosper? Because it's the Constitutional Council that has the powers to do that.
No, it is the Constitutional Council that has the power to do that, but he sleeps in the same bed with the Constitution that the Constitutional Council is working on. So that is why I'm saying that there's no need to carry it to law. What the book, the document, the Constitution that the Constitutional Council works on The head of state is sleeping with it on his bed and changing it at will. He enacts any law of his choice. He doesn't listen to any person, and he has never listened. But he is making people to become begging and beggars, so that when you give a small government position, you celebrate with your family, the overlord has spoken. So why are we in this situation? They have to understand that these laws are not accepted and they are not acceptable. They should cancel and reject them and keep the country stable as it is, and then making sure we understand that anybody that is in the ministerial council is illegal, and making sure that they call elections as quick as possible without creating any new village, any new tribe, any new region, any new subdivision, any new division. Nothing should be done if they want to prove that they are transparent and they love this nation. The haters of this nation is the people that are working at the top roof of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, and the people that are around where the president is working and using high powers are the highest people that hate this nation and are putting their ego and eccentricity ahead of every Cameroonian.
All right, as we wrap up this edition of the program, I want to have your take on two things. Number one is the increasing rate of violence against children, particularly sexual violence. Toddlers, children, sexually violated, sexually abused, and other children submitted to cruel treatment, severe torture in different parts of the country.
We know this regime has accepted spiritual matters as part of the ruling ideology. And this has kicked our children to be thinking that doing terrible things to young children and all that, they are getting some spiritual powers. That is very wrong. That is one bad thing that this has...
What do you mean by spiritual powers? Certainly not the powers of God, right?
Not the power of God, because that is on the left-hand side. Evil is not from God. When you're dealing with children, young toddlers, what powers do you gain from? But they believe that this nation, because the 50 years old mandate has been meddling around things as such, the grandmaster, military grandmaster and all those things, is driving our children, our young people very crazy. And majority of youths in Cameroon don't have jobs, no opportunities. So they're thinking that touching terrible things and doing those things might give them, aggrandize them into situations where they will get hands into wealth.
You're referring to Satanism.
Satanism. And that's one terrible thing that this regime has let loose, because they've been having terrible people coming to this country, visiting and promoting those things, and calling military grandmaster of Malta has visited Cameroon and all those. What is he talking about? Who has come out in the media and defined this role of the grandmasters coming to this country, so that they should know that it is not about Satanism? So people are picking up all these things, children, women, very in difficult situations, and they are trying to link it up into Satanism, where they can aggrandize them with wealth.
Well, that was a state authority from Malta who came visiting. Yeah. We don't want to create any diplomatic incidents, but that was a state authority. Yeah. Even though there are other things, like you're saying.
No, I accept. Which is for our government to always be creating that time to explain, because there's misunderstanding in ideology. I'm not blaming them. I'm saying that it is when they listen to those things, they don't know. But we have got a regime that is centered around the president. We haven't got a regime that is open society. That when things happen like that, you explain to people. Those flimsy things happen. They are not meant to be bad to this nation, but the way of interpretation makes our people think that it is a left-hand side Satanism, which is not like
so
that.
How can this problem be solved? How can children be better protected in this country?
Now, the law again is the weakness of the law. The law is centered around the president and his cabinet. The law is not helping Cameroonians in any way. So when incidents happen, if it's the Cameroon people, the Cameroon Reformation Party, what I would do is we will enact those type of things into law. Why are they enacting certain things into law, putting the post of vice president and all those terrible places, things, positions? Why can they not enact into law that if you attempt to even mutilate a child, life in jail? Why can they not do it?
Life imprisonment.
Right, life imprisonment. Why can they not do it? If you kill somebody, why can you not give them life imprisonment, no judgment? Why are they only focusing on vice presidential position, changing the rule of laws and changing those things that favors them, and not seeing the side of evil?
All right, last thing. You're trying to revamp something in the northwest region of the country, the Womb Area Development Authority. Tell us about that and why you're trying to revive it. What happened to it in the first place?
This was created by the Germans far back in the 18s. When they created CDC, they created certain companies in Cameroon. So WOM was fortunate to have the Womb Area Development Authority with about 5,000 to 6,000 job vacancies that were there at that time. But unfortunately, because the head of state, Paul Biya, at that time, thinks only about him, his family, and also being afraid that...
Amadou Aijo or Paul Biya?
No, Paul Biya, 80-something, 86, they closed it down.
Okay, it was closed in 86.
Yeah, roughly around
just
4 years when he took over.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was shut down for no good reason. Not thinking about the job opportunities, not thinking how the social value that is giving to the community, not thinking so many things that were coming out, the benefit of foodstuff and many good things that were with trainings, placements, and all internships where people were doing. Lots of people were busy coming into Womb Area Development Authority, and this was closed down. The reason of closing down so many companies was not because they hate some places. They have always been afraid that let a Cameroonian that is out of the entire family clique that runs this country should not be in position of wealth that much at that time, not now. Because it was paving the way for the head of state to stay as much as 100 years. Who knows how long he wants to stay there. But that place was closed down. But I've begged them, and I'm begging them, a room with an elephant inside, and the door is too small to come outside for the elephant. So it is up to us Cameroonians to struggle and see that this nation goes to a very nice destiny. And the destiny of this nation is for bona fide politicians like myself to come out who speaks vehemently on behalf of the people, not only fearless, but frankly speaking with very creative ideology and clamoring for the government to accept the position of government transparency to be handed over to the Cameroon Reformation Party leader FOLIGAR. And I thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today. God bless Cameroon. Goodbye.